Good morning, boys and girls. This is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, um, second act. I did it yesterday and it was two chapters and it was too long, so I'm only going to read one chapter. Chapter 13. The Big Day Arrives. The sun was shining brightly on the morning of the big day, but the ground was still white with snow and the air was very cold. Outside the gates of Willy Wonka, enormous crowds of people had gathered to watch the five lottery ticket holders going in. The excitement was tremendous. It it was just before ten o'clock. The crowds were pushing and shoving, and the policemen with their arms linked were trying to hold them back from the gates. Right beside the gates, a small group was carefully shielded from the crowds by the police. Stood the five famous children, gathered with the grown-ups who had come with them. The tall, bony figure of Grandpa Joe had been seen quietly among them, and beside him, holding tightly onto his hand, was little Charlie Bucket himself. All the children, except Charlie, had both their mothers and fathers with them. It was a good thing they did, otherwise the whole party might have gotten out of hand. They were so eager to get going that their parents were having to hold them back by force to prevent them from climbing over the gates. Be patient, cried the fathers. Be still. It's not it's not time yet. It's not 10 o'clock. Behind them, Charlie Bucket could hear the shouts of people in the crowd as they pushed and fought to get a glimpse of the famous children. There's Violet Beauregard, he heard someone shouting. That's her, all right. I can remember her face from the newspapers. And you know what? Someone else shouted back. She's still chewing that dreadful old piece of gum she's had for almost 3 months. You look at her jaws. They're still working on it. Who's that big fat boy? That's Augustus Gloop. So it is. Enormous, isn't he? Fantastic. Who's the kind of kid? Who's the kid with the picture of the Lone Ranger stenciled on his wind cheater? That's Mike TV. He's the TV fiend. He must be crazy. Look at all those toy pistols he's got hanging all over him. The one I want to see is Veruca Salt, shouted another one in the crowd. She's the girl whose father bought up 500,000 bars and and then made the workers of the peanut factory unwrap them until they found the golden ticket. Gives her anything she wants. Absolutely anything. She's she only has to start screaming for it and she gets it. Dreadful, isn't it? Shocking, I call it. What do you think? Where do you think she is? Which one do you think she is? That one. Over there on the left. The little girl with the silver mink stole. Which one is Charlie Bucket? Charlie Bucket. He must be that skinny little shrimp standing next to the big old fellow who looks like a skeleton. Very close to us. Just there. See him? Why doesn't he have a coat on in this cold weather? Don't ask me. Maybe he can't afford to buy one. Goodness me, he must be freezing. Charlie, standing only a few paces away from the speaker, gave Grandpa Joe's hand a squeeze, and the old man looked down at Charlie and smiled. Somewhere in the distance, a church clock began striking 10. Very slowly, and with a loud creaking of rusty hinges, the great iron gate of the factory began to swing open, and the cloud began suddenly became suddenly silent, and the children started jumping about. All the kids were fixed on the gate. There he is, someone screamed. That's him. And so it was. Okay, I did. Yeah, reading it, it probably was like slightly over 15. I didn't realize it was that long. Yeah, So I'm going out of this.